Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Join hosts Dan Melnick and Qasim Masood as they explore big ideas, limitless possibilities, and engage with visionaries, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders who dare to dream big, get inspired, motivated, and find practical tips for personal growth. Think big, dream bigger, and ignite your potential.
Welcome to the Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Today, our guest is Tejaswi. Tejaswi, how are you doing today?
Very good, Qasim. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. So, Tejaswi, where do you live?
I live in Gurgaon, NCR, which is in the capital, near the capital of India.
Awesome. So, Tejaswi, will you share some of your findings and learnings in our most recent entrepreneur careers? What are the things that worked well, and what were the things that didn't work well?
Sure. So we built a company called Quality, which was into hospitality tech. It was essentially a guest experience platform for hotels or hospitality ventures. So this is pretty similar to the way customer experience works in technology, but it was more custom tailored to the vertical of hotels because the dynamics of that are very, very different. So just like CX, right? You want to see if your product is being used. Similarly, in a hotel, you want to see if while the person is still in the hotel, is he happy? Is his journey going great? Is his experience great? And if it's not going great, how do you realize it early on and fix it before they check out? Because realistically, once the person is checked out, Qasim, it doesn't really matter. No matter how much sorries do you say on those reviews, the experience, my vacation or a business trip has already been spoiled. So our tool was all about collecting micro indicators of how a journey of a guest was going when the guest, from the time he made to booking till the time he checked out, and then engaging with the guest thereon at the checkout phase. So few of the things that worked few of the things that we learned along the journey. So I worked in a lot of companies which were just SaaS. And my SaaS career actually started back in 2009 with Salesforce.com when they put their first leadership team back in India. Though the vertical SaaS is very, very different. It's exciting, but at the same time, it also limits your market, right? So you become a subject matter expert on something, but one of the challenges that you face when you start marketing it or when you start expanding, scaling it up happens in a very, very different way than it happens for a normal SaaS product, which is horizontal across the board.
Yeah. Awesome. I'm just getting you over there. So one thing in this case, like when you are in this industry for hotels, so what do you think about the user experience? So is it an important factor? Because once someone check out, nothing is in your hands. So is it the most top priority to keep the user experience good, or you can say this is secondary and there is something more that is primary?
Oh, no, absolutely not. I think the user experience or a consumer experience is the primary thing when you talk about hospitality sector, or in fact, for any application or technology tool that you use. Because there are a lot of tools available in the market, but it's the user journey, how easy it is, how adaptive it is. And the best example that I like to give people is there are a lot of chat tools that came across over the last decade. But the way WhatsApp scaled up, it being that simple to use, beginning from a chat, like a simple chat app, to where you could share pictures, to where you could share location. And it began and evolved in such a phased manner that even my grandmother could use it.
Yeah.
And it's become an essential part. So that's what technology should be. Technology has to be built in a way for users that it's intuitive and it's easy to use so that people want to use it versus just building something which is sporadically used. Because once you build something like that, you never have to worry about metrics like churn or am I valid or have I solved a problem which was valid enough? Does that answer your question?
Yeah, exactly. So when we are focused towards these type of things, at the end, business needs marketing and business development as well, obviously. And marketing is the part of business development. So when we are talking about the marketing, in the marketing, we have to market our best strength, right?
Correct.
Best strength. So if we are providing a good user experience, then what should be in the marketing? Is it enough to just share the user experience in the marketing campaigns? Okay, see how good user experience we are giving. Or there are some other factors as well, because marketing is an impression on your consumers and consumers take it seriously. this is something that is going to make your image. So I'm not sure in your recent brand if you what metrics you were adapting and what strategies were there. So if you can elaborate a little bit on it.
So I think you're spot on. Marketing is very important. User experience is a definite, like a very, very important part of scaling up a company. But when it comes to marketing, I think what's more important is, are you able to articulate the problem that you're solving within one sentence, maximum two sentences? Does the person even get, because user would only use it once they understand what it is. And marketing, so it's very easy to market something which already exists. But when you come with a product like ours, which is still kind of getting traction in the market, a lot of your time actually goes in evangelization, right? Of what that actually is versus even truly marketing yourself. It's about marketing that concept. So I think the best parallel journey I could tell you about that is when SaaS was being adopted back in probably 2005. More than what a SaaS tool, you ended up explaining the concept of cloud and cloud computing, which today is the de facto norm when you talk about technology, right? So a lot of time, depending on the stage of what you're developing, a lot of time actually goes in evangelization. Like in our case, more than marketing quality, a lot of our time actually went in evangelizing and marketing the concept that how we are tackling this problem very differently. Because when you talk about guest experience, right? And when you talk about hotels, most hotels would say, hey, I'm a hotelier. I've been doing this for 20 years. My hospitality is the way I greet the guest when the guest comes to my hotel. And like the technology can only help me so much, but I am a trained hospitality professional. So this is what I do, right? So evangelizing and making them understand how human behaviors are different, how when you leave things to manual interpretation, they could have biases, and explaining the beauty of technology, which is unbiased and which works well and easy to use. Like, so that itself took for us a lot of time to explain the concept itself. And later came the part where we said, hey, we do this and we do this well. So yeah, I think that was our learning. In our case, I think a couple of things worked really well because we were vertical SaaS, right? So though the problem of scaling up comes, but you also know your market is this niche. So you kind of learn it, become a subject matter expert, and you can approach them in a very targeted way. And we found an excellent marketing person who did a great job at SEO. And we got a great amount of leads, which were unexpected because our hypothesis were most hoteliers are not hanging out on websites or on not checking out SaaS tools, because this industry itself has been a laggard in terms of tech adoption. Like, you'd be surprised that a lot of them are still using, most of the tools are dated as long as like 20 years ago, and they're still using on-prem solutions. So for us, it was very surprising to learn when we started doing our SEO. So all kudos to the excellent marketing person, of course, that we found, that she helped us figure out the entire strategy. That really helped us get a lot of traction. And then being relevant in events which are specific to your sector is always a great help, though it never converts into direct revenue. But it's great to learn, exchange ideas, and just to establish yourself. And I think that kind of also gives you an idea about your product roadmap, what you want to be building for future.
All right. Okay. So whenever we are preparing a map, a roadmap, or maybe goals for the marketing side, what are the main elements to keep in mind in this business? Because I believe, yes, in this business, you have to tell people, okay, how good we are and how we are handling the things. There are many factors, obviously, but what is the importance of pricing? Like in this market, is there anything like in the market of hospitality? Is there anything where you have to be keen a lot about the pricings as well? Like you have to compete the market with pricing, or you have to compete with some other elements?
I think in our case, honestly, from the experience we have had, it was mostly about selling the concept, which took most of our energy versus direct pricing competition, because we did not come across many solutions. Like a lot of solutions said that they do customer experience / guest experience, but nobody was solving. And I'm sure that every founder feels that nobody was solving the way we did. So we did not come across a lot of competition per se, barring traditional tools or the way they thought they were doing it traditionally. When it comes to pricing, I mean, I think it could, again, our view could be biased because most of our traction that was there was in India. We had few international footprint, but they were we were just about starting to gain strength there. So India in general is a very price sensitive market. So I think it was less about the sector. And when you even come to the sector per se, they are today competing against immense competition. Their OPEX have gone really high. Their CAPEX, though, isn't that high, but their OPEXs have gone really high with the staff costs being really up. So everybody is trying to do more with less. I guess so. That is one important another factor when you think about technology is how technology can help you either make your life easier or help you save your cost in the most efficient manner. It's about how can you do more with this? How could you do the same thing with 10 staff versus 15 people? Which indirectly then, like thereon, the moment you have that conversation, straight on is your ROI is very, very clear. And I think the client is more inclined to buy the tool when he understands it in those numbers.
All right. So in the sector of hospitality, do you think there is any room for AI? Because I believe when we talk about hospitality sector, this is more like someone wants to just get rid of their systems, their laptops, and they want to go somewhere, enjoy, or maybe. So do you think that AI still may have some room? And by the way, your answer may be I'll complete one startup as well. This can be an idea for someone who can start a complete idea on it.
I think there's room for AI everywhere, honestly, Qasim. I think we as a human race have become lazier. And with especially the technical advancement in ChatGPT and AI, I think it just makes our life much more easier and lets us focus on core tasks or tasks that could be much more productive. So when we talk about AI, how can AI help in hospitality? Obviously, I understand when the end consumer comes to a hotel, they're either coming for work or for vacation from completely getting away from their laptops. But our solution, for example, was WhatsApp first. You're still on your phones. Second thing is, even if they're not using it, how about the hotel itself collects data and then AI works on top of it? And how can they do certain things better, whether it's staffing, whether it's operational efficiency, whether it could be something as simple as recalibrating their menu. For example, you could have 500 things on the menu, and you might realize that maybe out of them, 420 don't even sell more than like 20 packs in a year. It could also be something quickly and acting on those things quickly. So think about those times when there were paper menus, right? Just changing a menu meant you had to again change all the printouts, everything, which again became like a huge task for branding to print out. And you couldn't be agile about changing your menu that much, right? Because it's again a plethora of things. Today, with the digital mediums becoming very, very popular, it's just a strike out and strike in, right? Imagine the way Swiggy and Zomato has evolved our lives in India and hosted Kareem in, for example, Dubai.
Yeah.
Similar experiences, I think. I think it just makes their life easier and much more efficient for a hotelier. It also enables them to focus on what is truly important, giving guests a great experience, where the AI can crunch the data and tell you the numbers, that this is where you should be focusing on. So definitely scope for AI everywhere.
Yeah, if someone is listening this, can steal this idea for sure.
I'm sure somebody would already have and would already be building. While we talk about, I think one of the things I've realized in technology and startup world these days, while you're talking about something or ideating, or even just discussing it in a water cooler conversation or on an airplane, by the time you land, somebody has already begun working on it. So
exactly. In fact, I got a query in 2020 or 2021, I think. I got a query when there was a client who wanted to build a system for the hospitality system, for the hospitality sector, where he was, okay, so he was the one who said, I am not concerned about pricing. So he was targeting the very high-end market. I was saying like he was targeting the high-end market. So in the high-end market, he was saying he is developing a system for the whole market, for the whole world, in Swiss, in India, in Pakistan, in Malaysia, and everywhere. So he was into it at that time. He was planning to integrate the AI. So that was an amazing thing. Like he came up with this thing in 2020 or 2021, I believe. So yeah, people are working on it when we are thinking about something. That's true.
Imagine people using AI today to write their resignations, to writing their resumes. Like they want to focus time on learning new skills, whereas they use AI to write everything. Like I was very surprised recently when a lawyer told me that he used AI to write his notices, and I was like, really? Why? Like, imagine the way AI has turned our lives into.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
A model which is still being trained, of course, but there's just so much data available already, through which it has already made our lives so much easier in so many aspects.
Hey y'all, it's Dan Melnick, the CEO of Zing, and I wanted to share a special offer for all of our listeners. Right now, if you need software development services, we'll give you 2 weeks of a free trial. Do you need to update your website? Do you want to build a mobile app? Do you want to update something that you've been working on for a long time? we've worked in a high-level technologies like AI, machine learning, blockchain. So shoot me a text, 817-874-2208. Thank you.
Exactly. So, Tejaswi, let me know about one thing. If someone is going to start a business, you have already started business. So, if someone is going to start a business, what are the three main key elements to start to keep in mind while you are starting a business?
I think one would definitely be that you're solving a problem that's a burning problem, right? Whether there are tools which already exist that's solving, but you're doing it in a better manner, it could be that. But you have to pick a problem that is worthy of solving. But definitely, I mean, continuing on the same line, it's a problem worth solving. Second, you are passionate about that problem being solved. I think that is very, very essential. I'm a firm believer, even in life, you only end up being succeeding in two ways. Either it's a necessity in life to succeed, or you're very passionate about what you're doing. That's when you reach greatness. And third and most important thing, and this I would base on my learnings from our own startup, is if you're creating it in an environment where you have co-founders, right, is trust, but always have a process. Whereas all of us are busy in focusing on our core areas. If you have a CTO co-founder is busy in building, if you're a CRO/co-founder, you're busy in marketing and selling. But you both should have bird's eye view of everything, and there should be a process for that visibility. Trust, but always have a secondary check. So that has been our biggest learning, because one of the things that happens when you are founder, there's just so much to do in building a company, from marketing to sales to building to something breaking to a client call to probably developing partnerships, that a lot of crucial stuff just slips through. I think a process and a mechanism just gives a secondary or a backup measure to ensure if something is going haywire, you can fix it, or at least someone notices. I think that has been our biggest learning.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. So, Teja, what would be your biggest piece of advice for our viewers who are entrepreneurs, or they are dreaming to be their own boss?
I think I am still learning and taking advice from people if it was doing this journey. But I can tell you one thing from working in a lot of startups in early stages and building one on my own. Startup requires a lot of perseverance. It requires a lot of energy. I think you are your own biggest cheerleader. You sleep every day and you think, is it worth doing? And you wake up every day and then you figure out a reason. Why is it worth doing? So ensure you have enough energy in you when you do a startup, but ensure you have a support system or an ecosystem, whether it's friends, whether it's family, who are also a source of inspiration, who keep you going, because it is a very tough journey and it's a very, very lonely journey.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome, Teja. It was a really nice conversation with you. Thanks for joining us today. I really enjoyed the conversation, and I hope I learned a lot. I hope our audience must also have learned a lot in it. So
Glad to have spoken with you, Qasim. I'm really glad we could make this happen. You have a nice time.
thank you. Nice talking to you. Bye-bye.